Law. Our topic is real estate trends. With me here today is Deb McGrath. She is the real estate professional with Success Real Estate. Deb McGrath has been in the real estate business since 2006, and she has been assisting buyers and sellers to meet their real estate needs. Today's topic is very important for most home buyers and sellers because the real estate trends in 2014 has changed drastically in comparison to 2013. So with that being said, I'd like to welcome Deb McGrath. Welcome.
Thank you, Calvin. I appreciate you having me come on your forum. And also want to thank you, Calvin, for giving back to the community and to real estate agents. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being on the show, and I'm glad you being able to be here. So let's go into it. So the first question is, what is the real estate trend in 2014 in comparison to 2013?
Well, the real estate trend in 2014 in comparison to the 2013 actually has improved. The trend has improved because there's more home buyers, and for the buyers, there's more opportunities for them to get a home for less because there's low inventory. The low inventory in the real estate market now enables the buyers to get a price for less. But also, in 2013, there was so many short sales, so many foreclosures, so many bank-owned, and just people were just confused as to how to handle each situation because in those situations, there was multiple banks involved in the short sales, and it made it difficult. Some of the buyers thought, oh, short sale, good. This will be a short process. It's not. It's a long process.
Right.
But for the trend, real estate prices for homes has increased, and also with that, there has been an increase with the loans. They've gone up maybe 1% to 1.5%.
That's correct. Yeah.
So we're looking forward to see what the end of 2014 brings. We know that there's going to be a lot of good things out there. August was a little bit of a slow month because actually it was a little bit better month, and now September, where the kids are back in school and the families are settled in, it's quieted down a little bit, but there'll be another boom.
It should, before the December of 2014 ends. So I think that no matter how you look at it, the trend will continue to uptick a little bit, if you will, going into 2015. Because, with the low interest rate and also the economy seems to be improved a little bit, if not steadily. So that would help the real estate market going into 2015. And of course, it depends on the interest rates and also the economy and also the job outlook as well. So those are, the factors that will affect the real estate market, if you will. So, yeah.
So it's encouraging for the buyers and the sellers, the market coming up like that. And it's also more encouraging because the market did not just shoot up. It's going up gradually. The sale prices of homes are increasing, and the interest rates have only increased a little bit. So it's still a great time for sellers to sell and buyers to buy.
I agree.
And there's lots of real estate agents out there that are equipped professionals, realtors that can assist in this process.
Right, and also I believe that the supplies and demands are very competitive, if you will, with the prices that have gone up between, I would say, 3% to 15% in comparison to 2012. So there's a huge increase on prices of properties in comparison to 2012. So basically, I think the trend is looking positive at this point, and hopefully it will continue, right?
Right, I agree with you, Calvin. It does.
Yep.
It is looking positive, and Even though the banks are a little more stringent in who they lend to.
Which they
and-
should. Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
yep.
Yeah.
It still is going to be a lot better. This is a huge investment for,
It
you
is,
know,
yeah.
buyers and sellers. So it's exciting. It's exciting to
is,
see
yeah.
what's going to happen.
Right. So, Debbie, Deborah, what do you think of the supplies and demands in 2014? Thus far, I mean, 2014, you see that the inventories are high and the demands are high as well, or it's going to be it has been lopsided.
Well, I think for 2014, we have lots of buyers. Lots of buyers that want to go out there and buy. First-time home buyers, baby boomers who are downsizing. There just isn't, the market does not, is not equipped to handle all the buyers. There's not enough homes for sale. So if you're looking to sell your home, put it on the market. You'll have a buyer,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get multiple offers too.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but it is a good time for both buyers and sellers,
Right.
you know, to take that step
Right.
and that leap into test the waters even to
Right.
see where
As
it can
long as
go.
the property price right and the
Exactly.
right marketing is in place with the right timing as well.
Right.
You know, is going to be a good time to sell, and also the sellers would have more leverage when it comes to negotiations.
Right.
So this is what I see. I see that in certain areas, of course, supplies are kind of low, demands are kind of high. So that's why it works advantageous to most sellers, if you will. And but however, this is a good time to buy for most buyers because with the interest rates are kind of low, and also they have a lot more options in comparison to 2012 or stuff like that. So I believe this is still a good time to buy. Now, as a real estate agent, what is the first step of helping prospective buyers? If you can share, what is the first step that you would recommend a home buyer what to do?
Well, the very first meeting that I have with the home buyers or sellers, but for the home buyers, because we're talking about that,
Home buyers,
is
yeah.
the very first meeting is Massachusetts has a mandatory licensing disclosure.
Right.
And this disclosure is the very first thing that I go over with
Right.
them.
It's called agency disclosure.
Agency disclosure, yeah, mandatory licensing relationship disclosure. So that's the very first thing that I do, and I get I have a little paper that I take down a bunch of notes to find out some things about them. And then I explain to them the importance of knowing what they're qualified, to buy. If we're going to go out and take a look at properties, they need to know what their price range is and what they feel comfortable themselves spending, what they want for a mortgage each month. So that's the first step that I do, and if they would like, I give them some names. I give them 3 or 4 names of mortgage lenders or banks or people that can get them a loan. And I ask them to call them and interview them to see what is a match for them, to see what they provide. I know some lenders that I've used, they have the in-house attorneys, and the attorneys will go over the purchase and sale free. They'll give them a homestead free.
That would be helpful.
Right,
Yeah.
so, which is when they hear the word free,
They should be happy, right?
Yeah, it's a good thing, because everything is so expensive, and the closing costs are expensive. So if we can get anything to help them with their monetary means, we do that.
Right.
So I hook them up with a mortgage lender, and they talk, and they give them all their information, and they pre-qualify them, and give them a pre-approval, actually, and then we know right from the onset what they can afford. And then the next thing, because I want to know my buyers well, I want their desires to be my desires. That's important to me. So I find out exactly what they want. Now, this is a learning process. This is a learning curve. We don't sit down for one meeting and they tell me they want X, Y, and Z, and then I know everything about them.
Right.
It takes time. So I ask them the areas that they're interested in, what kind of home, what they need in a home for their family, how many children, do they want to be on a busy road, do they want to be on a cul-de-sac, what town, you know, and then I get to know them that way.
Price range as well?
Price range, absolutely,
Right.
and what avenue they want to go down. Because this is a big investment for the buyers. They have to go into this process smart. And I need to go into this process with them smart,
Right.
walking with them hand in hand, and listening to them and communicating to them.
That's important. Yeah.
Very important,
Right,
Calvin.
right.
So, and there's so many programs out there for first-time home buyers or regular buyers. I want them to do their due diligence and talk to the lender and see what it is.
Yeah.
What program works for them.
Right. Right.
So what program works for you may not work for me.
Everyone's situation is different.
Yeah, I'm going to senior housing,
Right.
you're not.
You're being kind. And I think that you're right. I think that the first couple of steps of helping buyers to number one is consultation.
Right.
Number two is getting a pre-approval letter.
Right.
And number three, getting exactly what they're looking for and what can they afford and
Right.
what they cannot afford. And they have to be realistic as well. So
Right.
I mean, all those information would help to minimize the search, and also
Exactly.
you don't want to waste time of
Exactly.
driving around the neighborhood
That's right.
or properties that
Right.
that they might not want to own a property in certain towns or certain properties, if
Right.
you will. So
Or they
that's
may not
important.
be qualified.
They might
you
be
know?
qualified,
So
that's right.
they tell me, oh, I want to go see this $250,000 home. It's in the neighborhood I want. I'm so excited about it. And I'll say, what does your pre-approval letter say?
Right, right.
You know,
right.
and it says you're approved for $200,000. So we can
Right.
go up to $215,000
Right.
because we can negotiate.
Right.
And there's room there.
Yeah.
I said, but let's stay in the realm of where we need to be. And Calvin, you're absolutely right. They need to do their due diligence to see the neighborhood, the school, the crime rate,
Right.
the traffic, and all the other variables that will impact their lifestyle.
In the surrounding environment as
Right,
well. Yeah.
right. And then the other thing I do is I tell them the whole process. I have a paper that I use, Steps for Home Buying. This is just a small one, but what I do is I have one that's made up with our success label, and I email that to them, and I ask them to read it, and then we go over it. It talks about all the process, preparing the offer, the negotiation part, how the seller will come back, and things like that, and then the final negotiations, the home inspection, the purchase and sale, and then the process of getting their commitment and things like that, so that they're in the walkthrough at the end before they close.
Right.
So there's nothing there that will be a surprise. Will
Yeah.
things crop up? Yes.
Right. So basically, you just try to guide them through the whole process, but
Right.
there might be some roadblocks or adversities, during the
Right.
process. So,
Right.
But again, that's why you're here for them, because you're here to help them through the whole transaction.
Right.
And so that's part of the buyer's agent duty, if you will. So and now, as you just mentioned, all the procedures in terms of facilitating a seamless and smooth transaction. I mean, what other things or recommendations that you would tell the buyers, if you will?
Well, that's a loaded question. That's an excellent question, and
Thank you.
I think that all of us as real estate agents, realtors, we need to know how we can do that. And I think for myself, Calvin, one of the major things is communication.
I agree.
And just being I'm on their side, and we're a team.
Right.
We're a team with the realtor, the buyer, the loan officer, the attorney.
The listing agents.
Yes, the listing
Right,
agent,
right,
exactly.
right,
So
right, yep.
if we get our dander up and we have a chip on our shoulder and we're against the listing agent or we don't like the way they do this or that, we're not going to do everything the same. So we need to give space and room for everybody to run their business the way they want to and the way their buyer or seller wants them to do. So we need to be, like I said, on the same page. And I think one of the things is very important is to be a full-time agent. Not that you can.
It's important.
It is.
Yeah.
Not that you can't be a part-time agent. I know some, and they're good. But you need to answer your phone.
Right.
And if you're working another job, it's hard to answer your phone. So my goal for my life is to answer my phone. When I have a buyer call me and they say, oh, I saw this on Zillow or Trulia or Realtor.com. Can you get me some more information on this? I want to be there for them.
I agree.
You know, I want to do whatever I can to be there for them. And that to me is making it transaction going smooth, because if they can't get a hold of me, they're going to be frustrated.
Right. I agree.
So
yeah. So basically, I mean, to sum it up, I think that the most important thing is communication, responsiveness,
Right.
and act as a advocate for your buyers.
Absolutely.
And I think with the experiences that you have learned in the business, I mean, would help you to tackle different problems
Right.
or questions that they might
Right.
have during the transaction or
Right.
before the transaction. So I think that the experience and knowledge will come into handy.
Right.
As either as a buyer's agent or seller's agent. So
Right.
that's important. So full time is another thing as
Right.
well. That's the most important thing that a buyer or the seller should look for.
Right.
So with all go ahead.
And the training too.
The
Calvin.
training, that's right,
You know,
yeah.
if we have an opportunity to get some training so that we can make the transaction smoother, get ideas from other people, pick
Right.
other people's brains, I think that's fantastic. You know, be teachable.
Yeah.
Be
And
teachable as
learn
a
from each
realtor.
other as well.
We
Yeah.
do learn from each other,
Right.
which is nice. I've
We all
learned a
need
lot
that.
from you, Calvin.
Well, thank you. Yeah, likewise. And also, when looking at properties, I mean, what should a buyer pay attention to in a home?
That's a very good question also. I love your questions that you have here, Calvin. Well, one of the things they need to look at when they go into the home, they have to look at the curb appeal and see if this is a place I could call my home.
Right.
So when they walk in through the front door, or before they go in the front door and they decide to walk around the yard, they want to look at the roof. They want to see if it has gutters. They want to see if it has the things that
Or peel shingles.
Yes,
Right,
yes,
right.
and the chimney isn't falling down, and there's noticeable things that we can see.
Right.
And then when they go in, they want to make sure that the electrical and the plumbing and all those things are in working,
Structures and,
right,
yeah,
working
right,
order.
yeah.
And also, I'm sure the women want to look at the kitchen. They want to see if the kitchen is something that they can,
Right. You're
work
right.
around.
Yep,
You know,
especially the ones like the cook, right, I guess.
Right.
Yep,
You
yep.
know, whether they have a family or there's
Yeah.
just a husband and wife, they want to feel comfortable
Right.
in their home. So those are some of the things that they can look at when they go into the home. And structural too. Even though you have a home inspector go in, and the home inspector will definitely be an asset. And I highly recommend that.
Right.
Because we can't see everything.
I
They
agree.
see things that we do not see.
Right. Right.
But we can see things that are noticeable if the layout of the home is a layout that is adaptable to their lifestyle. The bedrooms, where are the bedrooms? Are there first floor bedrooms? Are they all on the second floor?
Right.
Is there two on the first floor and two on the second floor, and you don't want to separate your kids?
Yeah.
You know, they have to decide.
The
you
floor
know.
plan is very important.
It is.
Right.
It
right.
is, Calvin.
I agree. And I think that the recommendations are very good recommendations. And now, as a listing agent, how do you handle multiple biddings, especially nowadays? You know, with the improved real estate market. I'm sure that as a listing agent, we all bump into multiple biddings, at a certain point, of course. So how do you handle something like this?
Boy, that is a challenge, and multiple offers are not one of my favorite things, although I have done them many a times, and I will do them.
It's great for the seller, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will do them.
Yeah.
But for multiple offers, it's very important, if I was the buyer's agent, to tell the buyer that this is their offer. There's not going to be a counter. They have to give their highest and best offer right off the bat. And that's hard for them to understand at first, because they think, well, nobody else is going to put in an offer to the list price, because I think it's overpriced.
Right.
Even though the market value says it's priced right. So let's say the price for the home is $305,000. And we have multiple offers. So say we have 4 or 5 offers on that property. I would suggest to my buyers that they put it in for $306. So they're a little bit over, or $300,600, so that they're just over the mark, because when they see that, they think that the buyer's really serious. Now, I also tell them the sellers is going to be looking to see if there's any contingencies. If there is 20% down, or if it's 100% financing. There's a lot of other variables that come into play before the seller makes their decision as to which buyer they go with. And that definitely has to be the seller's decision.
Right. So basically, you act as a sort of advisor to the sellers, and the rest is going to be up to them and their family, basically.
Right.
And plus, sometimes I told the buyers that the best prices might not be the best offers. I mean, they have to be accompanied with the best term and condition as well.
Exactly.
And I've seen sellers who took offers that with lesser prices, but with better terms and conditions that are favorable to them. So therefore, that's it's important to bear in mind. And also, sometimes when they live in a property for a long time, so emotions play into it. So that's why I think that the terms might come into handy in terms of how do you want to take care of the property after you owned it, and also what kind of ownership that you take pride in after you own the property. So those are the factors that basically play into it as well, other than the price. But again, each situation is different. So
there's one other factor that I have seen that has played into this, and as a buyer's agent, I will say to the list agent, you have multiple offers, and I would like you to give us a deadline. Tuesday at 5 o'clock, all offers have to be in, and then you shut it down. And then you bring all the offers to your sellers and let your sellers decide. And a lot of times the sellers agents didn't think of that. And they think, oh, that's a great idea, because then they're not scurrying around saying, oh, I'm getting another offer at 9 o'clock tonight, I'm going to get one at 10, tomorrow at 7:30 a.m.
That's not
5
true.
o'clock,
Yeah.
the deadline.
Right.
So that's fair.
Right.
I think that's fair to the seller, and I think it's fair to the buyer, and all the parties that are involved.
I agree.
So,
but sometimes,
and they do it, though. They do it.
Sometimes, even though you said the deadline has passed, but people are still interested, you do have to receive offers and then present to the sellers.
Right.
So you're right, but in very few instances where buyer's agent would want to continue to submit offers if it is a great property for their buyers. So in this case, I mean, it works better for the sellers, But again, you want to, give a deadline, also to have some limitations, if you will. So so the seller wouldn't go crazy with various offers, because they have a lot to think about.
They have a lot to think about. There's no hard cut fast rule as to how to do it. Everything that comes into play, there's tons of variables.
I agree.
So, and like you mentioned, Calvin, not just the variables, emotions.
Emotions.
The emotions of every single solitary. You put 4 different buyer's agent, seller's agent,
Right.
you know,
Right.
seller,
Right.
buyer.
Yeah.
You put all those personalities
Right,
together.
right.
You have to have counseling.
It's
There's
not
got to
easy.
be a psychiatrist
Yeah.
or a counselor.
It's not easy because they're not dealing with the buyers directly. I mean, they're dealing with the papers.
Right.
You know, so
and also this is a huge investment.
Right.
We are talking about people's money.
right, right.
And
Yeah.
it's not a little bit of money.
Right. It's not like buying a car, right?
No,
Yeah,
it's a
right,
lot of
right.
money.
Yeah,
And so
it
we have
is.
to be mindful of that.
It is, yeah. And so when a buyer or a seller were to hire an agent, I mean, what are some of the things that they should look for?
Okay, so some of the things I think that when they are looking to hire an agent, I think that first of all, you
Experience,
need to,
right?
Yeah, well, experience is one thing.
Right.
And I know some really brand new agents that are great. They need a chance too.
Right, that's
but
right.
Experiences, but you need to interview them. You
Right.
got to see if you connect with
Connect.
them.
Have the same chemistry, if you will.
Right,
Yep,
right. And they have to trust you.
I agree.
Because there's certain things that we have to do. We have to be obedient. We have to be
Loyal.
keep confidentiality,
Right.
loyal, trustworthy.
Right.
A whole bunch of other codes
And
that
protect
we're
their best interests.
yes,
Yep,
and
right.
disclose anything that's about the property that needs to be disclosed.
right,
But
right.
another thing too is you can ask for past clients, talk to past clients,
Right.
and we got the internet. We got
Yeah.
Realtor.com, we
Right.
got Zillow, we got
Right.
all these places. I have reviews online, and go to online. Look
Yeah.
at my reviews.
Right.
You know, look at other people's reviews.
Testimonials.
Testimonials,
From
right.
past clients, stuff
right.
like that. So,
and
yeah.
and I would strongly suggest, it's not hard fast. Use a full-time agent.
Yep.
Because their heart is in being a realtor. Their heart is in to assist buyers and sellers. It's just really great to have a full-time realtor.
Right. And also the other thing that I'd like to add is that, you know, it's not just about getting the deal done or transaction
No.
done. They have to love what they do.
Yes.
You know,
Yep.
it has to come from the heart.
Right.
Or, you know, they have to be
Right.
passionate, you know, to help people. I mean,
Right.
that's the most important thing.
And
that,
answer your phone.
Answer your phone, that's right. Yeah, and answer your questions as well, right?
Communicate.
Yeah, communicate, that's right. Yeah, so, well, I want to thank you so much for sharing.
Oh,
and,
thank
it's
you.
been a pleasure for having
Thank you
on the
so
show.
much.
Yeah, and your recommendations and tips are very good. I think they should be very helpful to the buyers and the sellers. So having said that, I want to thank you so much again.
Thank you, Calvin.
The real estate trends continue to improve, if you will, and the real estate market changes from month to month and from year to year, and it depends on the lending regulations, the economy, the demands versus supplies, and also the stock market. When buying or selling a home, it is important to consult a real estate professional to seek recommendations so that you know what you're going to be getting into. And so you need procedures in terms of how to go about and sell and buy your home as well. So that at the end of the day, you have the peace of mind that you can trust, and also it is a big investment for you to have. I want to thank you so much for being part of the show. See you next time.